My name is Mike Taberski, and my dissertation will study the perceived competencies, education, and experience needed to be an effective dean of students in American higher education. Now, chances are, when I mentioned that I would be studying deans of students, you either thought of your own dean of students, who is hopefully better than this character, or America's most famous dean of students, and I don't blame you. Because frankly, there is not much research out there that specifically focuses on the dean of students position, despite the fact that it is found at virtually every college and university in the United States today. Thus, those who are aspiring to become a dean of students, or those who supervise or are developing such a position, are left with little resource on the competencies, education, and experience needed to be effective in the role. Now, academic deans, on the other hand, have a plethora of research, articles, and books that explore every facet of their position, thus helping those who are aspiring to become an academic dean, or those who are looking to be successful in the position. Deans of students and student affairs are left with only minor mentions in chapters or other research, and only 4 major specific works: 2 history books, one focused on the history of the Dean of Men position, and the other focused on the Dean of Women's position, and 2 advice books, both of which focus on deans at small private colleges, and are now becoming quite out of date as they were written prior to the advent of more contemporary issues faced by deans today. So while those aspiring to be deans are looking for preparation or guidance, they are left with mostly history, such as learning about the first Dean of Men, LeBaron Russell Briggs at Harvard, or Alice Freeman Palmer, the first Dean of Women at the University of Chicago. And they will have little resource on the myriad of issues that they will face daily as a dean of students, or the more critical issues they may encounter during their tenure as a dean. Thus, this study will go right to the source, studying deans currently in the role in order to gain valuable information on the essential competencies, education, and experience needed for perceived effectiveness in the Dean of Students position. This quantitative study will utilize a nationwide survey sent to deans at both large institutions and small institutions in order to capture a complete picture of the role, rather than the more common focus of deans at just small private colleges as we've seen in the past. Deans will be asked to rank the importance of the professional competency areas for student affairs as developed by ACPA and NASPA, as well as listing and ranking the importance of their education and listing and ranking the importance of their previous education in order to identify the most important competencies, education, and experience needed to be effective in the role. Thus, it is expected that conclusions drawn from this study will give those aspiring to be deans, or those supervising or developing the Dean of Students role, much better advice than the advice given by America's most famous Dean of Students. Thank you.